Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad. Nice to see you again.
Yeah. Been a while.
Not too bad, Mongoose. Thank you for casting. Famous, good game last game. I was watching.
Holy shit.
That was intense, dude.
Yeah. We won them both, but like the second game was the least clean. I'll say it that way.
Hey, you got to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
You're
Got the
playing
bike
back.
in.
You go for it.
Okay.
You got the stress.
All right. So we'll say tails. Yeah.
Flip coin. Let's go with banning Volskaya.
We'll ban out Infernal Friends.
Pick for Totem. Let's go with Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Sweet. We'll go to Tower Stim.
No worries. Thank you, and
guys.
good game.
Evening all, welcome to our Tuesday night Nexus Gaming Series games. We are the Division B East channel of record tonight, as both of our doubleheader games are Division B East, and we have both of our teams today in Game 1, Uncomfortably Numb and Totem Annihilation, are ready to go. We're getting the lobby moving right now. So Game 1, Totem Annihilation's pick will be on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and Game 2 will be on Towers of Doom. So we did make some settings changes today to hopefully avoid a couple of the audio issues we had last week. So if you're in the lobby, let me know how sound's coming in. Alright, looks like we have one team in. Now we're going to get the other in. Oops. Let's do it this way then. It's weird. Oh, having a little bit of inviting trouble. Sorry for the radio silence there. Alright, so two teams we have. Both had solid outings last week. Uncomfortably Numb is the reigning Division C Grand Champions from Season 3. So they, of course, got bumped up to Division B this season. Had a win and a draw last week, picking up 3 points overall. going 3-1 in their 4 games, and they're playing back-to-back tonight and just picked up another 3 points in just before this game. So Uncomfortably Numb off to a solid start. And our other team is Totem Annihilation, like myself and my boys, Chair League Refugees. It's off to a great NGS debut last week, winning all of their games. And picking up, would that be 6 points in the process, right? So just waiting for our second team to get in here because I'm having invite issues. So this should be a good game. Our Division B staff writer put out the power rankings today, and both of these teams were pretty high. So the early goings suggest that these two teams could be fighting for some of these higher end spots in Division B East. So really looking forward to this game. Should be a really good game. All right. So this was... There we go. All 4 teams here, or both teams here, all 10 players. And we should be getting moving here in just 1 second. All right, we have 1 R, we have 2 Rs, and we are in the draft. Game 1 on Tomb of the Spider Queen. As this is Totem Annihilation's map pick, it is Uncomfortably Numb's first ban and first pick selection. Phoenix was nerfed. He still seems pretty solid, so we'll be interested to see in what direction these teams go as far as Phoenix's pick ban priority. Really thinking about it, Stukov, Mouth, kind of the 2 highest prioritized supports in the current meta. You see those guys tend to go pretty high, usually not making it past that mid-ban phase. Blaze pretty hot. Tomb of the Spider Queen in particular, anything that really lets you quickly rotate between those lanes and win that rotation. So somebody like a Johanna, you're not going to see her first ban, obviously, but you could very well see her in the game. And it is a Medivh ban. That's not at all surprising either. A well-played Medivh is really, really solid to protect the portals. Requires a team that's really on the same page, though. You really got to communicate with your teammates, both the portals, the cooldowns. But a team that coordinates well can really make the most out of the Medivh. And Uncomfortably Numb just decides we're not going to see him this game. Totem Annihilation, their first ban. This is the one where you're seeing Phoenix the last couple of weeks. So do they say they don't want to deal with him? Did the nerfs bring him down to the point where they're okay letting him through and banning in favor of someone else? And it's an ETC ban. That's not one I would have seen coming. ETC is kind of the generalist gold standard of tanks, always solid, provides good CC, good peels. I think he's fallen off in the current meta just a tiny bit, not a lot, but a tiny bit, as he can be susceptible to burst sometimes. But we will not see him this game regardless, and there is the Phoenix. So the nerfs enough to let him get through, but not enough to let him get past first pick. First pick Phoenix for Uncomfortably Numb. 2 picks coming for Totem Annihilation. And no hesitation going with the CC train. Diablo, Maiev, Warden's Cage, APOC. Uncomfortably Numb here is really going to have to be aware of their positioning, their team's positioning on the map, because a Maiev Diablo is just a rotating pick waiting to happen. So a very aggressive selections from Totem Annihilation, and they really didn't wait long. They clearly had a plan, something they had in mind, and drafted those guys lickety-split. So what's the response going to be from Uncomfortably Numb? We mentioned Johanna, good on Tube and the Spider Queen. She's also good against Maiev. You see her at high level competitive. The Johanna picked into the Maiev because her Iron Shield can walk out of the Warden's Cage, walk out of the tether, but also because a well-timed blind can actually prevent Maiev from using her tether ability. But they are saving the front line for last, going with a Hanzo Malfurion. So backline damage for Uncomfortably Numb. It's on the board. It's going to be Phoenix and Hanzo. Malfurion in support. I imagine they will round out these last 2 picks with 2 frontline heroes, a main tank, and your off lane. Totem Annihilation, they need to pick or ban here, and they ban the Garrosh. Don't want to see him. I imagine this ban has almost got to be Stukov. The silence in the Warden's Cage with the APOC and all that other mess they have going. He's very much in the meta right now. So that's the first ban that pops into into my head is the Stukov ban. Jaina, well, there it is too. Jaina would have also been another good one. Her AoE fits really nicely into that Warden's Cage, but it is going to be the Stukov. So 2 picks for Totem Annihilation. They need to round out their Death Ball and select a solo laner. There's the Blaze for the solo laner, and there's the Junkrat, one of the most irritating heroes to play against. When he's played well, he's pretty tough to lock down. His concussion mines are aggravating. You got to be really aware of when he throws those things down. The displacement is really strong. So last 2 picks for Uncomfortably Numb. Man, it's going to be a double front line here. I expect this to go all the way down to the wire as far as timing goes, because that is a lot of CC, a lot of displacement coming out from Totem Annihilation. That's a very difficult comp to play against. I still think the Johanna would work. They do need an offlaner to deal with all of that. Maybe, I don't even know, Malthiel, I suppose, if you wanted to go that way with the big front line on the side of Totem Annihilation. Their time is up. It's going to be Sonya Johanna. So Johanna, no surprise. Sonya, never bad. So you're going to have a Sonya Blaze squaring off in the off lane. Last pick for Totem Annihilation. Wouldn't surprise me to see like a Jaina or a Kael'thas, because their AoE damage in the Wombo combo would fit with what they're doing really nicely. I've also seen it done with like Nazebo, Zombie Walls, Gargantuan, that type of thing. So if you wanted a little more damage over time instead of burst, you could go with like a Nazebo. A little more of a funsy Wombo combo is Gul'dan's Horrify into the Warden's Cage, and you turn it into a little pinball machine over there. But I think you're going to see some kind of mage coming out of Totem Annihilation here. Do have some viewers in the chat, guys. Once the game gets going, please let me know how the sound settings are. That was our big issue last week, and I want to make sure those are right. I'm pretty sure I've got them adjusted. Of course, they need a support. What am I talking about? I got so interested in that Wombo combo, I completely forgot that we're not likely going a supportless comp. So Uther is the pick. More CC, of course, and you know, in this comp, you could either go Divine Shield or Divine Stun, Divine Storm, I suppose. The Uther is nice too, because when the Sonya gets onto the back line, it's one more stun to get her out of her spin to win. So both teams going pretty straightforward comps. The triple melee, though, out of Totem Annihilation, whereas Uncomfortably Numb going for more the, you know, kind of standard double front line, double back line solo support. Alright, so we do have Totem Annihilation is the red team. It'll be Takor on Blaze, Apple Pie on Diablo, Craven on Junkrat, Spectre on Maiev, and Dasein on Johanna. The blue team, Uncomfortably Numb, reigning Division C Grand Champions. We have Mr. Monkey Man on, who is that? I actually cannot see. Mr. Monkey Man on the Hanzo, Patches on Malfurion, Novus on Phoenix, Famous on SWAT Team Johanna, and Kicknaz on Sonya. No surprise, Uncomfortably Numb being a little bit careful with their positioning. They do not want to get blown up here. Famous goes in with the Condemn to clear out the wave. Maiev threatening with the Shadow. There's the Tether, pulls in the Hanzo. Follow-up from Junkrat a second later, but it looks like Diablo and Maiev are actually taking the worst out of the damage here, and that's despite the fact that Sonya, she has already rotated down. She wants to get a little bit of a jump on the lane from Blaze. This is a matchup you see a lot with two of the top solo laners here in Sonya and Blaze. In my experience, all skill being equal, it is a Blaze lane to win, and we missed a kill in the top. Junkrat able to get the Hanzo. There's the displacement onto Johanna, now taking shots and the Tether. Famous could be in trouble. The Maiev heals very close, and Johanna falls. Phoenix now in trouble too. Maiev will teleport, and there's the Tether onto the Phoenix. Malf and Phoenix both running for their lives. Shadow charge from Malf, and that's 3 down, 4 down. Phoenix getting a little bit aggressive on the counter invade. Got a little bit of the bloodlust there, and early 4 kills to nothing in favor of Totem Annihilation. This is something I was a little concerned about in the draft. These really aggressive pick comps with lots of CC are very difficult to play against. You just have to be so on point with your peels, your positioning, your supports, and of course Malf does not have a cleanse this early in the game. So Uncomfortably Numb, coming off of their hard-fought domination just earlier today, will try to regroup and get back in their 4-man. Totem Annihilation on the counter rotation. Let's go ahead and peek down in this bottom lane here. So Sonya, though, is looks like she is winning the lane slowly. You can see a little bit of damage onto the buildings there. Sometimes solo laners get no love in these casts. You stay on the 4-man so much that they never get any camera time. So I try to pop down there when I can to take a look at how the solo laners are faring. So this is going to be a little bit of slow in the action. There's the flip and the shadow charge and the body blocks. Johanna doing what she does and just kind of slowly walking out of trouble. I think this game is going to be a little bit slow right now until these teams get to the point where they want to force in a turn-in. Totem Annihilation was able to capture the hard camp and are hiding in that spell armor to really shove this lane in, getting a lot of value. Uncomfortably Numb, not a lot of heroes here to defend this, as they are currently just secured their own hard camp to counter push this mid. Famous really being out there, tanking a lot of damage, although once his Iron Shield is down, he might be in trouble, able to utilize that spell armor. Thank you very much for letting me know about the sound. That was a constant struggle last week, by the way, so thanks again. After a rough start, Uncomfortably Numb seems to have found their footing, and they are about 3/4 of a level behind now. The best tank in the game at doing this clear and rotate thing is certainly Johanna, so that's something that you want to see them take advantage of. I don't think Famous is going to be able to sneak that turn-in with the Junkrat there. When there's a Junkrat on the opposing team, you really got to zone them out, because he can just kind of lob those grenades in there from pretty far away to interrupt any kind of turn-in. So both teams do have enough gems for a turn-in, and Maiev is able to ninja his way into turning in 10 gems. So 40 currently turned in for Totem Annihilation. Blaze able to get out of trouble, and now Sonya and Phoenix might be in some trouble on the counter engage, but no. While they rotated to get the Blaze, Red Team Totem Annihilation did complete the turn-in, so they are about a 3/4 of a level lead. They did get the first turn-in, and I think we're going to see the action here pick up just a little bit. Sonya goes in on the Diablo and gets isolated out and tethered for her troubles. Her and her 20 gems are able to walk away, but feeling a little bruised for their trouble. So 4 members here of Blue Team to defend the bot lane, while 3 members of Red push it in. Hanzo taking a lot of damage from the Diablo isolation before he simply vaults over that wall. And this time, though, Sonya is not able to get out. Her teammates are right by the gems. Nobody's grabbing the gems right there. There we go. Malfurion grabs Sonya's fallen gems, and most of them will be recovered. However, early game, certainly in favor of Totem Annihilation here, and while they were defending bottom, Junkrat has gotten free reign up here. He just got free AFK push in this top lane, and this is going to put them, Totem Annihilation, on pace to reach 10 and possibly force a second turn-in, maybe even a boss if they want, before Uncomfortably Numb can get their own heroic ability. So in the driver's seat, Totem Annihilation is, and of all the battlefields, this is one of the harder ones, in my opinion, to mount a comeback on. As you get forced further and further back with your siege damage, it gets easier and easier for your opponents to goaltend the turn-in. And not only that, as you don't turn in these gems and you hoard them and you hoard them, it gets very dangerous to risk gems or risk deaths. You can see it on the persons right now of Uncomfortably Numb. Phoenix is really going to want to play passive and not lose those gems. Same thing with Malfurion and Johanna. And as this game goes on, if they're not able to turn in, it's just going to get more and more dangerous to fight and risk losing those gems. That was a great blind by, if you guys didn't see that on the JoJo, onto the Maiev. Diablo is able to flip, isolate out Munchkin Man, and he does go down anyway. 10's picked up by Totem Annihilation, although Blue was able to capitalize on Hanzo's death and get a turn-in of their own. We have APOC for Diablo, I think that's Riptire, it is for Junkrat, Divine Shield for Uther, Warden's Cage for Maiev, and of course Bunker for Blaze. Pretty close to level 10s here for Uncomfortably Numb. They are currently in a very passive state, just soaking until they can get it. This turn-in won't get them much in the way of structural damage, but it will catch them up and get them on the same talent tier. In the bottom lane, though, Sonya and Malf in trouble. A nice silence by the Malf. It prevents more follow-up on the Warden's Cage and might just allow Sonya to get out, and does, and Uther forced to pop Divine Shield. That Twilight Dream by Patches muted the entire Totem Annihilation team, and there was no ability follow-up to the Warden's Cage, which had caught Sonya out. So I'm pretty confident that Twilight Dream saved Sonya from a horrible death in the Warden's Cage. Uncomfortably Numb got a little more out of this turn-in than I thought they would. Diablo goes in hard on the Phoenix. JoJo working hard to peel. There's the Hanzo ulti and the Blessed Shield one. Nope, I lied. None of that happened. Or is the Observer still bugged? Let's check something here. Yeah, it is on cooldown, so the Observer is still bugged. That's unfortunate. Blessed Shield and Hanzo's arrow went out in those peels there. Unfortunately, the Observer is not showing the heroic cooldowns, which is unfortunate. However, Uncomfortably Numb kind of gets a second turn-in, unopposed, and looking to work their way back into control of this game. Structurally, it's pretty close now. Both teams have only lost a single fort. They are still about 3/4 of a level behind. If they play this turn-in phase right, though, that could send the concussion mine, though, puts Sonya in a world of trouble, and she is not getting out of this. That is a, great concussion mine from Kraven on the Junkrat, and that is really going to put the kibosh on the sieging aggression here from Uncomfortably Numb. That's one of those frustrating things playing against the Junkrat. You just gotta constantly watch out for those concussion mines. Nice teleport by Phoenix on the Novus. Patches also with a nice manicured lawn there to help his team disengage away from Totem Annihilation. However, Uncomfortably Numb showing no passivity, and they are going right back in. They know that red is going to go down. They're going to clear out the bottom Web Weavers, and they want to try to take this mid fort for free. Diablo goes in, flip, gets caught in the lawn, rooted, silenced, and salvoed. Low health, but no deaths. Coming out from red team there. This game looks very close, and is very close. However, it's not very often. There's the Blessed Shield to stun. The Divine Shield has to come out to save Mayem. There's the Warden's Cage. There's the Apoc. There's the Wombo. Maiev barely escapes. Phoenix is the first to fall. Sonya will as well. So Maiev barely escapes with life. And they are on full retreat. Uncomfortably Numb are. Patches in trouble. Apple Pie is sure to get him as soon as the Q is up here. There it is. There's the flip. There's the jet propulsion. What I was going to say is you don't usually see games this close when one team has 10 kills and the other does not have any yet, which just shows that the team fighting advantage, I think, certainly has been Totem Annihilations here, based on the comp that they're running. However, I do think that Uncomfortably Numb has been getting more out of the map with how they've been macroing and how they got the turn-ins and maximized them, because 10 kills to 0, and before that last team fight it was 7 kills to 0, and the game was basically dead even. But that last team fight does put Totem Annihilation ahead about a level and a half with the Web Weaver turn-in. Sonya charged, flipped, stunned by Uther. However, she is still up. There goes the salvo from Phoenix. Spectre is going to not go down. Diablo does. I want to know how many hit points Spectre has. It cannot be very many. Excellent initiation and team fight there by Comfortably Numb, returning the favor and really making sure that this turn-in does not get a whole lot. I am shocked that Maya got out of that. She had to have less than 100 hit points, or health. It has to be less than 100 health. So only one fort captured, destroyed by Totem Annihilation, and with the 16 advantage, they are going for the boss. You don't see a 5-on-5 boss play very much. However, this is a calculated risk. They do have 16 advantage. If I am on Totem Annihilation, I am figuring that they are getting the bruisers, which they are, and Uncomfortably Numb is coming up now. It's going to be too little too late, though, and boss captured. It's going to be pushing on a keep with a weakened wall. So big decisions here. Do you push with this boss? I think you do. You try to force something while you have 16. One of these towers is already fairly low. Blaze is in an off lane soaking, so this is 4v5 with the boss. Sonya gets isolated out on the flip reset. However, Phoenix going out and doing big damage on the salvo again, and Totem Annihilation decided that that's quite enough of that. Boss not going to do too much. It's going to finish off the front wall up here. Nice call by Totem Annihilation. They're going to rotate and take this mid fort here, probably for free. Yes. So they're able to parlay the boss into a keep wall and a mid fort. So Uncomfortably Numb here. They want to take it easy. They're just captured their 16. I'll put the talents up there for anyone who's interested. Now, we've only seen the Warden's Cage APOC combination used once, and that was the big fight that turned this game kind of in the middle here. However, Uncomfortably Numb has actually seemed like they caught up because they were down by more than this. This is the fight Uncomfortably Numb wants. You want same talent here. If you're going to fight pre-20, this is where you want to do it. There's the Warden's Cage, there's the Tether, there's the APOC, there's the Riptire. And Diablo is the one that's the lowest as an Uther. But finally Malf goes down, Uther goes down too. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Despite all of the R buttons being pressed by Totem Annihilation, they have completely lost this fight and could be wiped if Phoenix has, yep, a 5-for-0 counter-engage team fight win for Uncomfortably Numb, despite the wombo that went down. Really well played by those guys. I'll be honest, I'm not even quite sure how they pulled it off, but they did. Malf being the only casualty, and they want to lay siege to this bottom keep. I think this is a great idea. They're also going to take turn in on the backside. Off screen you have Johanna turning in and one other person. Nope, just Johanna. They do have turn in here. Now that they've taken this bottom wall down, members of Totem Annihilation are spawning. So free turn in here as Uncomfortably Numb looking to capitalize on a team wipe. And for the first time this game, Uncomfortably Numb is actually up in XP. So that team fight could not have come at a better time, was absolutely well executed. If I can, I'll see if I can clip that for those guys, make a highlight. I'm trying to take more notes of that stuff. About 15:30, I'd say. Siege Giants and Web Weavers pushing bottom. It looks like Johanna will be coming to join her teammates, and this should definitely develop into a 5-on-5 in the bottom. Blaze gets rooted. He has no escape now. Jet propulsion already being used. There's the silence. The D-shield will come out and save him and Diablo, though I don't think Diablo is getting out of this. APOC used defensively. Both Blaze and Diablo go down. Spectre with a nice vault right over the top of that stun arrow. However, Totem Annihilation is in a lot of trouble. Nice concussion mine, and the tether onto Johanna, though she's not really going to care that much. Bottom keep going down, and they are looking core. 30 seconds until Totem Annihilation has a front line with Web Weavers pushing in. You got to be careful with the Maiev not to clump up for the resets. There's the Warden Cage and the Riptire. Do not give her those Fan of Knife resets. Those are really dangerous. But Uther goes down with the Phoenix ulti, and Uncomfortably Numb has done it. A nice recovery to take game one. They were down 10 kills to 0 at one point this game, and it ended up 11 kills to 10. So 10 of the final 11 kills, Uncomfortably Numb coming back to take that game. Really well played by those guys. That was really impressive, especially that team fight win. Just, it almost seemed like the Wombo was completely ineffective. Of course it wasn't. It was just those guys played it so well. So game 2 will be on Towers of Doom. That was Uncomfortably Numb's pick. All right, sorry about the radio silence there again. We're still only the second time I'm casting with OBS, so I'm still making sure everything is where it should be and all the little nuances aren't quite second nature yet. It's one of the reasons I prefer to co-cast, because when I need to do something like that, somebody else can talk for me. But I also love hearing myself talk, so solo casting sometimes is just fine too. Towers of Doom, let me find this. We'll get this game going. There it is. So that was a really entertaining game. Early, it seemed to be all Totem Annihilation, but late game, Uncomfortably Numb just took control of that game. 10 of the last 11 kills. So 10 straight unanswered kills for Totem Annihilation, and then almost 10 straight unanswered kills by Uncomfortably Numb to end the game. So very streaky. Early game, mostly Totem Annihilation. Late game, Uncomfortably Numb just completely took control of that game. So we are getting both teams into lobby here for the second game of our doubleheader. Both of these games today will be Division B East. So going to see 4 of the 11 or 12 teams in Division B here tonight. And both of these teams, like I said earlier, showed good stuff last week. And it's only been 1 weekend, 1 week out of 7, so there is definitely definitely a long season to go. But these two teams both looked good last week, looking good so far. Worth noting, Totem Annihilation, that was their first map loss, unless they played yesterday that I'm not aware of. Their first map loss of the NGS season so far. So those guys, no doubt, looking to bounce back. Who was Spectre Ban? All right, I like these guys. There is no messing around. They are in here and ready to rock and roll. So game 2, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Scratch that. Game 1 was Tomb of the Spider Queen. Game 2, Towers of Doom. We talked about last draft, would Phoenix go through? He did. Uncomfortably Numb insta-locked the Phoenix first pick, and it was definitely a factor. The Phoenix damage was real. The other ult, not World Cracker, it's a Purification Salvo, I believe, was huge in those team fights. Totem Annihilation not wanting to face some of their own medicine. This time they ban out the Maiev. Now, will Uncomfortably Numb stick with the Medivh ban? Or will they not let Phoenix through? We're still seeing a lot of first ban Phoenix. Towers of Doom, you do see a little bit more in the way of Chromie. I don't know if we'll see it first ban here, but I have seen it. Chromie can, in particular, the top altar spawns on the friendly side can really poke those out from a pretty long way. If you can hear my cat begging for dinner, we'll sort that out before next game. Quiet, dude. 10 seconds left. Is it going to be Phoenix? Medivh? It is Phoenix. So no Phoenix going through. Each team banning out their draft priority from last game. Hanzo very quickly first picked for Totem Annihilation. Uncomfortably Numb with 2 selections. So all of their backliners from last game not available. We will see completely different assassins being played by the side of Uncomfortably Numb. Last game they prioritized assassins and support early. Curious to see if that's a trend that will continue. Or if if they're going to get front lines in the early going here. In past metas, just a few weeks ago, we were seeing early pick Greymanes. Now he's kind of dropped off so far. We haven't really seen him much of anywhere. And it is the Malfurion. That's a good pick. Patches was really solid on Malfurion last game with a couple of really clutch Twilight Dreams. And back with the Sonya Malfurion. So comfort food coming from Uncomfortably Numb. They will pick those heroes that they clearly know how to play, and also neither Sonya nor Malfurion really tip your hand. They're both solid in a variety of different kinds of compositions, so you're not really giving anything away when you pick Malfurion Sonya. So let's see what Totem Annihilation goes with. Last time Stukov was banned away from them. We'll see if Stukov is something they're interested in. If they are, I think you kind of got to pick it now. Do they go back with the Blaze here as well, or a Diablo? Or are we going to see something entirely different? It is the Stukov. If you wanted him, you had to pick him up now. And Dahaka, who is excellent on towers, offlane pressure, brush donking in for the altars. Really like that offlane Dahaka pick. And the one-on-one matchup with Sonya, though, Sonya probably wins that. So that is something you need to keep aware of. But once these teams start grouping up and moving around the map, the advantage will tip from Sonya to the side of Dahaka. I imagine we're going to see some kind of frontline ban coming out of Uncomfortably Numb. If they don't want to see a Diablo, you could see a Diablo ban here. Or Blaze. Well, they already have their offlaner in Dahaka, so the Blaze ban, you would be banning the Blaze to keep the Blaze away from as a primary tank. You tend to see him a little more often in an off tank, but he can be the team's primary tank if you want him to. Bunker is really good. I wonder if there's an assassin they don't want. Garrosh. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't even think about that. Garrosh is really oppressive. The flip, the taunt, the stun. And anytime there's a Garrosh in the game, so much of what you do, how your team moves and positions, is determined by where Garrosh is. So by eliminating him with a ban, that's just not something you got to worry about. Ban coming out for Totem Annihilation. You could see a tank choke here, as Uncomfortably Numb does pick next. Could also ban out some kind of backliner that they just don't want to see. Chromie on this map, or Tracer, who's huge in the meta right now. Not wanting to deal with the Tracer, ban her out. 2 picks for Uncomfortably Numb. If I am their draft shot caller, these picks are tank, range damage, and you leave that last slot for the flex. Don't leave yourself backed into a corner by needing to pick a tank. I really like that last pick to be able to adjust to what your opponent throws out in their draft. So what tank will it be? ETC still on the board. You haven't seen him quite as much, but he's still good. Other than the ban last game, Diablo is also still on the board. I play a ton of ETC, and he can be a little dicey to play into Stukov, so that's not one of my favorite things to do. So a Diablo might be better in that way, and there it is in a Genji. Genji going to pressure that backside. Do we see a Varian come out as a response to the Genji? Main tank Varian here for Totem Annihilation. That's certainly something we could see. They do need another backline damage dealer, or do they really buck trends and do the Tassadar Hanzo that we were seeing early HGC? I've seen some teams running that as well. Genji may have thrown those guys off a bit, so they're talking it over to be sure. I would really like the variant, to be honest. He's in a nice spot right now. Level 4 taunt is so strong. It would really put a lot of pressure on those guys. 6 seconds, so regardless of who they pick, we're going to see it now. Jaina ETC. Very OG. Jaina and ETC go together really well. In this setup, though, Jaina, along with Stukov, are going to be targets number 1 for Genjo, so got to be really careful. And Sonya doesn't have a lot of interrupts for her spin right now, so those guys need to be careful of that Sonya just going ham on that backside. This is going to be a main damage for Uncomfortably Numb. Some kind of primary backline damage dealer. They're going to go with the burst. Greymane still on the board. That would be a ton of melee, though. Kind of 3.5 melee heroes. Who else is out there? Tychus is still on the board. He's kind of in the meta right now. If you want to go with a mage. Kael'thas and Gul'dan both sitting there. Let's see where they go. And it is the Chromie. Yeah, that's... Stukov also, no cleanse on the Stukov. If Mr. Monkey Man on Chromie opts to go temporal... Oops, switching it up. Patches on Chromie. We're having the support move onto the Chromie. So if Patches on Chromie opts to go temporal loop, no cleanse coming out of that Stukov to save his teammates. So I really like that Chromie pick. You have the Chromie to kind of poke down, poke down, poke down, poke down, and then you have the Genjo to go in there and do the cleanup, do the mop-up duty once Chromie has softened up Totem Annihilation here. Looking at these drafts,
so for battle, heroes.
I like how much harder I think Uncomfortably Numb is going to scale harder if they get to 16. Diablo just becomes such a monster after 16. If they get to 16 about even, I think you're going to see the scales tip in his favor. Also because Chromie's Q stacks will just keep stacking up. Another reason Chromie is good into Stukov is he's a sitting target once he sits there and plants his AoE silence, so makes it one easier way to stack up her Q. Little skirmish here in the middle. Nobody's really going to hard engage onto this. And already Sonya Dahaka, you can see on the mini-map, going into the top lane. I will say, though, I think the rotation will be a little faster out of Totem Annihilation with the Jaina and the Hanzo. Their wave clear is going to be a little better, a little quicker, a little faster. So let's see if that's something they can take advantage of. Genjo there to intercept the rotation, get the dismounts. I like that play by Novus. However, ate a lot of damage from Jaina. Craven really playing into Novus, making him think twice about stepping up for that poke. And now taking a lot of damage from Genjo, from Hanzo, I should say. Really forced to back up there. And rotation slightly in favor here of Totem Annihilation as a result of their slightly better wave clear here. And great positioning on the silence. Chromie pretty low. Novus getting aggressive and eats a lot of damage. Nice vault out by the Hanzo. No first blood yet. And in the middle, you have the battle that will never end as ETC and Diablo wail on each other and don't kill each other. If it gets a wall stun, Diablo gets the advantage there, but that's about it. In the meantime, the backlines and the support are just trading blows. This is kind of interesting how the teams have arranged this. You have the offlaners battling top, you have the tanks battling mid, and you have the backliners and the support battling bottom. Kind of a a gentleman's agreement, if you will. Both sides went for their pumpkin sappers. Totem Annihilation has a little better in the way of Merc control, so they got theirs first. Hanzo looking to go peek over there. He is going to have the Genjo pressure onto him. Diablo goes flying through that house there as kind of a weird interaction with the Shadow Charge. And it is going to allow him to get Jaina and Hanzo with the Chromie W, sniping from the back line. First blood going to Uncomfortably Numb on the back of Diablo flying through that house there when Hanzo used his trait over the building. It was the right play by Hanzo, just kind of an odd interaction the way he continued to follow him and move through the wall. Triple altar spawn, of course, on Towers of Doom in the 1st and 5th altar phase. Looks like Dahaka and Sonya will channel their respective altars in the top unopposed. And then both teams coming down. Currently 3-on-3, but Genji will get here first, giving the number... Oh, there's the Dahaka burrow. However, Genjo just goes and obliterates Stukov, and Totem Annihilation is going to have to back up, I think. Although Sonya's still on the top. So, Uncomfortably Numb will pick up a little bit of XP advantage while these guys go of a 4-on-4 on the bottom. Novus making the plays, does take out Hanzo. However, the counter kill with a blizzard and a power slide, taking Genjo down too. So Genji picked up 2 kills in the midst of that team fight. Sonya is double soaking in the off lane this entire time while these two teams trade out here bottom. And that decision to leave Sonya in the off lane has netted them almost a full level advantage in XP. Well played there. I don't know if Sonya realizes she's in a little bit of trouble if she sticks around much longer. I don't think they'll get her. Got out just in the nick of time. Mr. Monkey Man came very close to overstaying his welcome, but I did pull back just ahead of the rotating wave. Hanzo, on the other hand, did not. Chromie, Sonya, Diablo combining for the kill onto the Hanzo. 5 kills to 1. In favor of Uncomfortably Numb. So after kind of a rough start last game, Uncomfortably Numb has really found their footing, their championship form from last season, if you will. And they have been on fire here the last half of this game and the first half of this one. Genjo's in trouble, does get out of the silence, but escapes with about 130 health. Steal the pumpkin sappers. No harm done, and once again Sonya left by herself to soak that top lane. I made this observation last game as well. Uncomfortably Numb does seem to be doing a little bit of a better job about managing the map and the experience soak. It showed last game when they were so far behind in kills but not very far behind in experience. It shows this game the way they're leaving Sonya to double soak. Mr. Monkey Man is PvEing this whole game, and they've translated that into about a full level lead and counter pressuring bottom. The roots on the Jaina not quite gonna finish it off as ETC's presence has arrived in the bottom. Mouth on the insta channel, the Chromie slowing sands. So despite the fact that there's no cleanse coming out from Stukov, they do opt to go slowing sands for the silence area. Tongue does land on the mouth, and that will allow the counter kill. So Jaina down, mouth down, Hanzo eating a W from Chromie. And now Sonya might be in trouble. Although 10's picked up, Uncomfortably Numb taking instant advantage. And it is a bloodbath. Bodies all over the place. 3 down for Totem Annihilation. Only 2 falling on the side of Uncomfortably Numb. They picked up their 10s, took advantage. We have Slowing Sands, Apocalypse, Wrath of the Berserker, Twilight Dream, and X Strike from Uncomfortably Numb. They do hit their 10s in the middle of that. 9 kills to 3 in their favor. Early game advantage to blue team. And once again, you look at this mini-map, Uncomfortably Numb. All 3 lanes soak. No mixed XP. And this is something they've shown to be really good at, both of these games. Especially considering the Dahaka, you would think that would be an advantage to Totem Annihilation, but they have really not been able to take advantage of that Dahaka. Team eating the slowing stand, splitting up the threesome in the bottom, and they are forced to back. Another invade? Yeah, with Dahaka just walking top, Uncomfortably Numb will invade this Merc camp one more time. If Dahaka's burrow is up, he can get in here pretty quick, and he does on the backside right into a Chromie trap, and he gets immediately gone on by Diablo and Sonya. However, Sonya walked into a blizzard, and the Silence now running for her life. There's the stage dive from the top rope. Apple Pie taking out Sonya, and now Uncomfortably Numb is on the defensive. Famous in trouble, pops APOC before he goes down. Genjo is able to take out Dahaka before the full retreat. If Q is up, and it is. 3 deaths. Maybe 4 if they get to Chromie. They're going to get to Chromie. So 4 kills from Totem Annihilation, getting right back in this game. This game so far has been an absolute flip from Game 1. Game 1, it was all about Totem Annihilation in the early game. Uncomfortably Numb took it back late after a clutch team fight. Game 2, all about Uncomfortably Numb in the early game. However, Totem Annihilation just took it back with a clutch team fight, and they are putting a lot of pressure on the bottom lane right here. Sonya and Genjo in the top. There is nobody from Uncomfortably Numb that will be able to hold this defense as it stands right now. So rather than defend this, Uncomfortably Numb will counter pressure in the top lane. And will the teams trade out? Keeps here. Now keep in mind, Totem Annihilation, their keep is undefended in the top. Sonya once again, AFK pushing in the top lane. Totem Annihilation withdrawing now that 13 has arrived for the blue team. So a little bit of a lull coming between altar phases here. Diablo, Famous playing Diablo, has been really good about kind of sitting in that aggressive bush side, trying to catch Totem Annihilation in rotation here. Very close game. Even though the early game was favoring Uncomfortably Numb, they're actually behind in core health. Not by a lot, just by a little. Chromie almost takes out the Hanzo. Diablo finishes the job, and then he gets pushed all the way back to the demilitarized zone back there. And Diablo is going to spend this whole fight just trying to walk back to safety. Despite that, his team manages to kill 3 while only losing 2, and they will likely secure double altars as long as they don't let Jaina free channel this. Oh, it's going to be close. Kraven, like a ninja, sneaks in and self-blizzards and takes out the Genji. Well played. Kraven being comfortable enough in the ability shielding coming out. Not only sneaks the channel there, but manages to take Genjo out before hiding in the bush and hearthing back. That was a really big play by Kraven there. And one of the first macro mistakes I think we've seen out of Uncomfortably Numb was allowing Jaina to channel that, even though they were actually a man up. I think if they played that right, that could have been 2 altars going their way. Instead, it's an altar split and Genji going down. And Totem Annihilation pushing in even more sappers. And the bottom fort finally, after repeated sieges, finally falls to Totem Annihilation. Now they are looking to invade. Yes. Diablo finally responding to Sonya top. The 2 of those guys will square off. However, it looks like we have a 4-on-4 brewing. Diablo goes in hard. Face melts away to try to get the camp, and they do. Diablo will probably pay for it with his life. I mean, ETC will. So ETC and Stukov die. Genjo on the backside, and Hanzo is on the wrong side. He is doing everything he can to use this fort here to keep him safe. I think Malf is going to get him, and he does the scatter arrow, and the fort, though, counter-killing on the Malf. Wow, this game is all over the place, and on the back of those 5 combined deaths for both teams, triple altar spawn.
Take the altars.
Totem Annihilation looking to get the top 2. I don't think Sonya's going to allow that. She cues in, interrupts Dahaka. Jaina, once again, will get this one for free, and then I imagine she's going to come reinforce Dahaka. Yes. There's the stage dive. Here comes Jaina, though. Dahaka still alive and able to get away. Jaina ate everything Chromie has to offer, and not dead, but very close to it. And now it is a full team fight. Boss has been aggroed on the back side of this. Water Ellie chasing Novus away, and Totem Annihilation decides to withdraw and concede the altar. 22 core health for Totem Annihilation, 18 for Uncomfortably Numb. Experience pretty close to dead even, and Uncomfortably Numb will take back this bottom fort. The question is, will Uncomfortably Numb push their bossing? Wow, great call by them. Rather than pushing in the Saptors, they're going to rip the boss. That'll leave 14 health. Great call. And then they might still have time to push this in as well. On the bottom side, Uncomfortably Numb is just saying, well, you guys push top, we're going to take this bottom. However, 4 members rotating down. I assume Dahaka will be shortly behind them. And another team fight brewing. This game has been an absolute, just a bloodbath. A total of 28 combined kills. And we're really going to come down to the wire here. Dahaka will take top fort for Totem Annihilation. Bottom fort does fall to Uncomfortably Numb. And Hanzo able to get away with the X-Strike, the APOC for the peels, and Jaina is caught and killed. And ETC, they will probably not chase him into the... Wow, Novus there almost got into trouble. However, despite the loss, they need to get up here, otherwise Dahaka is going to channel those. 15 seconds, Dahaka in position to start right away. Mr. Monkey Man might get dismounted, but no. So Dahaka is not going to be able to channel. 23 seconds for Sonya. I would really like to see Uncomfortably Numb get the double spawn here. Or get the double. There's the stage dive by the ETC. Sonya caught out. Everybody is already here for Uncomfortably Numb. They caught Sonya. They almost catch Genji. And wow, that's unfortunate. Once again, Uncomfortably Numb this game had the man advantage there, but wasn't able to translate it into some kind of success to press that advantage. However, Dahaka burrows in and holds down the fort until his teams arrives. Uncomfortably Numb bullies in, takes the pumpkin sappers. 26 seconds till Jaina is up. Let's see if Totem Annihilation here can use... Yeah, they're going to take back their own fort. Not a bad idea. However, they will tank this. These minions are not in here yet. So they need to get rid of those minions. And get the red ones in here to tank the fort damage. So both sides opt to retake their own structures and reset the map here. Experience is very even. When they retake top fort, Totem Annihilation, scratch that. When they retake top fort, Uncomfortably Numb will be slightly ahead and in position to hit 21st. But not by much. Really not by much. So this game is going to go absolutely down to the wire. I'm really excited to see how this game ends. It's been highly entertaining. Double altar spawn. Unless a fort goes down, neither team can end with this. But it's going to really put somebody with their backs against the wall here. ETC comes in, face melt, arrow stun. APOC has to go out to peel. The silence catches everybody. ETC from the top rope. Diablo in trouble. Genji in trouble. Malf in trouble. Hanzo the first to fall, closely followed there by Stukov. And Famous kind of walking away, sticking around despite the slows, and then absolutely obliterates Jaina into the wall. Is this going to be a team wipe? Currently Dahaka, the only one left standing. 4 kills to 1. Uncomfortably Numb, really taking charge of this game. There's the charge, there's the flip. He's tried to angle again for the second one, but it does not matter. Complete team wipe on the side of Uncomfortably Numb. Second game in a row, they've had a late game team wipe to seize the game, seize control of the game, and they're going to have about 20 seconds, really, before Totem Annihilation is going to have the manpower to contest anything. Boss is up in 45, so that's not going to be a factor. I think they're just going to try to take as many of these structures as they can. This game is now dead even in core health, 10 to 10. Uncomfortably Numb is 1 level up, and they are going to be slightly up in structures after they take this bottom port. 17 seconds for Dahaka to come up, but he can burrow in. 10 seconds now, so if they want to make a play right when he spawns, they can. Monkey Man on Sonya taking a fair amount of damage. Spears out of the way. Hanzo was really laying into Sonya there. And now it looks like they're posturing to immediately retake this. Uncomfortably Numb does not want to let that happen, and they posture in defensive positions already. Dahaka not here, though. He is in the top lane, pushing that minion wave back. He can burrow in, kind of at needed. Team skirmishing right around the fire zone there, close to red base. Sonya has split off to get the pumpkin camps, leaving her teammates to defend this fort. So Totem Annihilation not looking to get aggressive. They just want to bring the pumpkin sappers in and hold the fort, which is a really nice play. Once they get Sonya to take those pumpkin sappers, that means that means Totem Annihilation has 2 things they need to worry about. They need to worry about the altar spawn, and they also need to worry about the pumpkin sappers going straight to core. Sonya now going on the bottom one. However, they have scouted this out. Nope, now they have, and they're coming in on the flank, kind of a split engagement. Sonya diving the backline here with no tank there. Dahaka still hasn't come in yet. This is a 5-on-4. Diablo catches ETC on the backside and is doing an excellent John Cena on him. Genjo does fall though, wrong Shimada brother, as does ETC for a 1-for-1 death metal. Does not catch anybody, and there goes Hanzo. Most certainly Chromie shortly after. No, there's nobody there. This looks like Totem Annihilation maybe wins this game. This siege camp still not taken yet, so they can actually take it and push it in. Diablo wants the kill onto Stukov. There's the charge and the flip. The shove does put Diablo out of the way. All they need to do is go boss or take this camp right here, and they could walk that in. They are opting to go boss. Either one will end the game, and it looks like, although Sonya and Diablo are pretty low, you wonder if maybe Jaina gets cheeky. The time trap is in the bush, though. There's Dahaka. There's the APOC. There's Jaina eats it. They are fighting for this, and Uncomfortably Numb is low. Diablo the first to fall. There goes the silence on Dahaka. Jaina is silenced as well, and she can't quite get in. The stage dive goes in late. However, Uncomfortably Numb taking the series in what was an absolute slobber knocker of a game 2. But they do take the set 2 games to nothing. A really, really entertaining, fun game to watch. Actually, both games were really fun to watch. So congratulations to Uncomfortably Numb taking back-to-back dominating victories. And now on the season, they're going to be 3 wins and a draw. Certainly going to be toward the top of Division B East. Totem Annihilation, both very competitive games, just not quite able to pull it out. Their record will fall to 2-1, still sitting pretty. We do have our second game of our doubleheader scheduled to start at 7:30. So we will take about a 10-minute break so I can feed the cats so you don't hear him begging for food in the background. So hang tight. We'll be back here in about 10 minutes for game 2 of our doubleheader. It will be DG Alpha versus Mom Bon Bon in Division B East. All right, well, there has been a change of plan. Apparently, our game 2, one of the teams had a player hurt his hand, and they're forfeiting. So, unfortunately, no doubleheader for here for us tonight. I will move you on over to one of the other NGS teams here in just a minute to pick up some other NGS action. Thanks for tuning in to what was a really entertaining match between Uncomfortably Numb and Totem Annihilation. And if you're interested, come support my guys, First Pick Nova. We do play tomorrow night. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful night, all.
We have Lay Tired on that Li Ming, Betnun on the Ana, KB Mo on the Nazebo as predicted. We have Diesel playing Cho, Father of 3 playing Gal. Rounding that up, Buzz Kicks on the right-hand side in the red. We have Kunanaki on